Hey there, welcome to my channel. Last time out we looked at variables. We spoke about the ways to declare variables using a let and a const, and we looked at how variable names and what the do's and the don'ts for the variable names, especially that you don't give reserved words in JavaScript as variables. In this, we'll be talking about data types. Now, when we spoke about variables, some particular things, for instance, we said boy is equals to 14. Now, 14 is a data, is a type of a data. So, data types in JavaScript are the various types of data that can be stored. Now, let's bring a scenario. In a house, you have plates, you have clothes, you have shoes, you have books. Now, you keep your books most likely in the shelf. You'll keep your shoes most likely in a shoe rack. You keep plates most likely in a plate rack. You keep clothes most likely in a wardrobe. So you see different types of items in the house are kept differently in the house, and I feel this is in every house. It might not be in, but there will be a particular place they keep some particular types of items. Now, in the same way, in JavaScript, there are different types of data, and these different types of data are handled differently in JavaScript. So the major data types we have in JavaScript: the number, the string, the boolean, undefined, the null. We have arrays and objects. Now the arrays and objects will be covered in the next video. They are a little bit unique data structures, and we'll look at that in subsequent videos. Now let's talk about the others. Now the number. When we speak of the number, we see that number can be anything number. So for instance, 23 is a number. So if I come here and so you see console, when I show you, when I type of what is the type of our sum number, it gives us number. If I come here and I say we have another number, so what type is our another number? Another number is also what? A number. So anything that is like is a figure is a number. So decimal point is also a number type. So that is basically that for numbers. Now when it comes to string, a string is basically recognized by quotation marks in the program. So a string is words. When you are saying something, when you speak, that's a string. When you putting together different alphabets, A, B, 1, 4, all of those are strings. So when it sees a double quotation mark, open and closing it, it knows that whatever content within that is a string. So here, a string here is a string saved within this str variable. And so you see str is, when we are str is a string. When we do str and if we put it within a single quotation mark, you see it's also a string. This is another string. Now if you put a number 1, 2, 3 within quotation mark, it's also a string. So if you look at here, str at this point, if I show us what str is here, str is 1, 2, 3, but it is a string. So if you look at the type of this str is what? A string. It's a string. Now there are situations where you have a string and you want to, it's a number actually, and because when you have a string, you can't basically add it like 2 plus 2 and to give you 4. No, it wouldn't give you 4. So what you have to do is you have to convert it to a number. So there's a useful function for that. We call it the pass-in function. So what it does is that you just put whatever the string is and you convert it into a number. So if you check so is now 1, 2, 3, and we type what is the type of so, it is what? It's a number. So it's important to note this, because if you are trying to maybe add 2 and 2, so if you are trying to add string 2 plus string 2, it won't give you 4 because they are string. So if you need to get 4, you need to convert it to a number data type. Now that's for the string. We'll come to the boolean. Boolean is just when you want to keep anything that has 2 states: on or off, yes or no, true or false, 1 or 0. We use boolean in such state. So and true and can carry what? False. Those are boolean. So if you see the type of bool is what? Boolean. That's it. So when it sees uh, anything that is true or false, it recognizes that it's a what? It's a boolean. The next will be undefined. Now the undefined data type is when we have any data, any variable declared, for instance mark in this situation, but it is not giving any value. So for instance, I did not come and say mark, like here we say bool equals to true, we put a value for bool, bool is true. So if I come here and I say mark is something, you will see that it no more gives us undefined. So if I were to show you type, sorry, if I were to show you the type of mark, you will see the type of mark. Sorry, the type of mark is that it is what? It's a string. But if I were to remove this, now it becomes undefined. That's basically while null is different from undefined in the sense that when you have null, it means that it's an object. We'll talk about that is not was not actually created. It's null. So we put a value there, but the value is that what? It's not created. It's empty. It's not really that it is empty. It is that it was not created. It was not. So an object that is not yet created is called null. We'll talk about objects in our next few videos, and I hope it clarifies that. So, but basically, null is different from the undefined. So we have the arrays and we have the objects. I've said that we'll speak about the arrays and the objects in our next two videos. If you have any question, please drop them in the comment section and I'll try my best to respond. I want you to remember that the only way to be better at anything is actually by doing that thing. So if you want to get better at programming, you have to be consistent, you have to keep pushing, you have to keep learning. Thank you. Please subscribe, like, and share. And I'll see you in the next video.